Greetings nerdlings, and welcome to AmalgamNation presents World of Loreccraft, Factioncraft, Argent Dawn edition. The Argent Dawn is a lawful good organisation focused on protecting Azeroth from agencies that seek to destroy it, such as the Burning Legion and the Scourge. Base camps of the Argent Dawn can be found in the eastern and western Plaguelands, as well as in Tirsfall Glades. Reputation with the Argent Dawn can be used to purchase various profession recipes, miscellaneous consumables, and in the past to mitigate the cost of attunement to Naxxramas. The Argent Dawn is divided into branches based on location, each of which has its own ranking and structure. Non-members are not permitted to know the ranking of members of the organisation, since that would make obvious targets of leadership figures, and the leader is not known to the public. This has sometimes resulted in the Argent Dawn being called a secret society. However, it seems their ranking structure is surprisingly simple. Specific regions have a commander who directly leads day-to-day activities, a council of officers, a group of elite Templars, and then the body of membership. Templars have no real authority over standard members, but they are highly respected. Branches include Brotherhood of the Light. The Argent Dawn has no official headquarters, but small branches exist in several major cities, including Stormwind and Darnassus. The majority of their members in the Plaguelands work out of the Light's Hope Chapel on the far east side of the eastern Plaguelands, but a good number of them inhabit a camp at Chillwind Camp on the border of the western Plaguelands and the Alterac Mountains as well. The Templars at Chillwind have plenty of work to do. The courageous Templars and Knights have to contend with ogres to the south and an undead-infested graveyard right on their borders. Through its actions, the Argent Dawn has created several powerful enemies, notably the Burning Legion, the Scourge, and the Twilight's Hammer. Despite common interests and an alliance at Light's Hope Chapel, there is also a great deal of mistrust and even open ire between the Argent Dawn and the Scarlet Crusade, particularly because the Scarlet Crusade views all non-members as potentially evil. Military tactics. In the Plaguelands and other parts of the world that the Alliance and Horde alike have abandoned, the Argent Dawn stands as a last shining bastion of hope against the Scourge, the Burning Legion, and other threats. Contrary to what one might expect, the Argent Dawn rarely defends any given location. Rather, it remains mobile, attempting to strike where it is least expected. This is clearly a strong contrast to the more straightforward Knights of the Silver Hand. The Knights and Freedom Fighters of the Argent Dawn rely on hit-and-run tactics, using their magic and knowledge of the terrain to compensate for the disadvantage of their small numbers. Each group is assigned an officer who chooses when to engage enemies in combat or avoid them. If there is any major risk to the group, the officer avoids the conflict unless there is an impending threat that must be stopped. The Argent Dawn is unwilling to risk even a single member if it can be avoided. For every sword lost could be another to join the Scourge. The Argent Dawn is not a group of cowards, far from it. They willingly risk their lives each day. If an Argent Dawn force is attacked while guarding a specific person or location, the members form a defensive circle around the target and attempt to repulse their enemies with ranged attacks. If any attackers make it to the melee range, Paladins and Templar move to eliminate the target, then return to their positions in the circle, if possible. If the Argent Dawn has multiple locations to defend, it prioritizes and potentially abandons one location completely, depending on the situation. If there are living people to defend in both locations, the Argent Dawn sends just enough people to the less important locations to evacuate anyone who may need help. Before entering combat, Argent Dawn units prepare with as many beneficial spells as possible. Priest casts spell resistance, Holy Word Shield, and bears endurance on everyone they can to increase their chances of survival. Paladins and Argent Dawn Templar enhance their weapons with Holy Sword if they can cast it, and if not, they focus on other spells to increase their damage dealing abilities, such as Bull's Strength. Once in combat, each spellcaster powerful enough to incapacitate a target with Hooks of Binding or another spell uses it to thin the enemy group's numbers. After that point, the group focuses its firepower on enemy spellcasters if applicable, moving from what appears to be the strongest target to the weakest. One priest maintains a healing rain if the group fights undead. When fighting intelligent enemies, Argent Dawn groups focus on enemy leadership first, expending their powerful abilities, holy strikes and high-level spells, to destroy that target swiftly, then retreat if necessary. Argent Dawn membership. The Argent Dawn admits members of any race and profession, so long as they are dedicated to the opposition of evil in the world. The organization draws members from both Alliance and the Horde, but not equally. Though independent, they favor the Alliance. The focus on the Holy Light makes the organization more appealing to the Alliance, especially to people with a background with the Church or Silver Hand. Magi also support and sometimes join the Argent Dawn, since they have similar goals. The Horde has a healthy relationship with the Argent Dawn as well, but it does not actually serve as a sponsor for the faction's activities. Rather, the Horde, mainly the Forsaken, reinforces the Argent Dawn's troops and works with them only when it seems beneficial, which is often the case. They screen their members carefully, however, so this seemingly open-ended recruitment policy can be misleading. Most potential members are required to use minor magic items to gather Scourge Stones from defeated undead creatures to prove the combatability of the applicant. Others have to fight demons in order to prove themselves. Members are also expected to uphold the virtues of the light, even if they are not followers of light themselves. They can be strict about what their members do or say, especially in public. Members of the Argent Dawn often have differing strategies in furthering the group's aims. Some make alliances against the undead, others fight directly. Some study new forms of magic or alchemy to combat demons and undead with greater effectiveness. The Argent Dawn is noted for unusual ways of utilizing the Holy Light for new spells, but this draws ire from the most traditional members of the Church of the Holy Light. Younger members of the Church and Knights of the Silver Hand find the youthful Argent Dawn appealing, since the organization seems to be less burdened by older and perhaps outdated traditions. The Argent Dawn as a whole seems unusually youthful. Some leaders appear much younger than they should be. Apart from the Knights, Argent Dawn membership also numbers some former and current members of the Kirin Tor. Since their home city of Dalaran was hit by the Scourge, many of the Kirin Tor wish to strike back. Both groups also find common ground in their interest in magical research. History of the Argent Dawn. After the death of the Scarlet High Lord Alexandros Mograine, the corruption of the Scarlet Crusade became apparent to some of its members through High Inquisitor Fairbanks, who spoke of the corruption for which he was later murdered. Those who paid him heed left the ranks of the Scarlet Crusade and established the Argent Dawn to protect Azeroth from the threat of the Scourge without subscribing to the blind zealotry of the older faction. While they shared the same goals as the Crusade, the Argent Dawn opened its ranks to not only other Alliance races besides humans, but also members of the Horde and even some of the Forsaken, but only if they proved themselves to be good and were no longer members of the previous organization. They cautioned discretion and introspection and put a lot of emphasis on researching the Scourge and how to combat them. With time, the Argent Dawn has grown diversified. A sub-faction of the Argent Dawn, the Brotherhood of the Light, works to keep relations between Argent Dawn and the Scarlet Crusade from growing violent. Despite their influence, the Argent Dawn do not have the manpower of the Scarlet Crusade and might not be able to stand alone against the Scourge. Currently, the Argent Dawn and the Scarlet Crusade have formed an uneasy alliance in order to focus their combined strength against Kel'Thuzad's forces in the Plague Lands. However, corruption looms within the ranks of the Brotherhood. When a player has looted the phylactery of Kel'Thuzad from Naxxramas, he is able to turn it into Father Inigo Montoy, a member of the Brotherhood in Light's Hope Chapel, who then promises to deliver it to the Argent Dawn in order to ensure the final death of the Lich Lord. As it later turns out, the phylactery has never reached its destination, so either Father Montoy or a powerful individual within the Argent Dawn is following a darker scheme or even secretly working for the Scourge. After the battle for Light's Hope Chapel, High Lord Tyrion Fordring declares that the Argent Dawn and the Order of the Silver Hand will band together as one to take the fight to the Lich King with a united front. The Argent Crusade has effectively taken over the Argent Dawn. The Argent Crusade then later allies with High Lord Darian Mograine of the Knights of the Ebon Blade to create the Ashen Verdict to lead the final assault on Icecrown Citadel. Effectively, from this point onwards, the Argent Dawn and the Order of the Silver Hand have completely merged and united under one banner. Presence in Azeroth. One can find most of the Argent Dawn, or as it is known now, the Argent Crusade, in the northern parts of the Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor, addressing the specific threats of the Scourge and the Burning Legion, respectively. The Eastern Kingdoms, they are present mainly in the Eastern Plague Lands. Their influence in the southern part of the Western Plague Lands is also significant, as they attempt to rout the undead from near Uther's tomb, Caer Darrow and Anderhall, their main headquarters, or at least their most stable, is located in Darnassus. Trivia about Argent Dawn. Argent is French for silver, although its most common use is money, as is argentum in Latin and argent in Albanian. Hence the Argent Dawn tabard icon of a silver sun rising. Argent is also the name of the white or silver colour used in heraldry. Interestingly, the tincture of argent is commonly used to represent the moon in heraldry, as opposed to the sun, as it is used by the Argent Dawn. Thank you for watching, and as always, remember, play to game and game to play.